Fender and custody. Thanks. Anyone else close, might just see restaurant, let me know.
I wanted to talk about the Blum stuff, because that's some wild stuff, and it's really unfortunate, especially the response of my mistake.
Right? Yeah. I mean, the least you could do is have like a proper response and a proper apology if you're going to say you made a mistake. But honestly, I don't know.
Well,
I really don't know. But the things he said were like, I couldn't even believe it when I first started reading the things that he was saying. I was like, where are you getting this? Like,
yeah. That's just like with riding in the back seat of the car
it's a special skill he has.
to PA. I mean, it's just because, and thank you for dropping that early yesterday morning. Also, it was early morning that the News Nation video came out where Brian Enton was talking about it on News Nation yesterday morning when I seen, because I feel bad, like the last thing that Dr. Ramsland is trying to do is discuss anything about the case,
Yeah.
and because I'm saying it's like 99.9 she's going to be a freaking witness. I mean, she was a professor. So why wouldn't she, or why wouldn't they have her, like, hey, can you tell us about, his tendencies and what he, this and that. So it's almost guaranteed, and that's why she's never really talked about it or discussed it. And when I seen yesterday her response to Brian Enton with their personal communication and how she had to make a statement and had to talk about certain specifics because he wanted to bring it up. And when I seen that, it was like, man, because we could sit here and we could wonder, well, is it true? Is it not true? Because it doesn't make sense when you first hear it. Just like some of the other stuff that's been said. But to actually hear a response from her, and Brian Enton shared the personal text message, and that's when I really got upset yesterday morning, and I did that little video, and I held a lot back. I held a lot in, and I edited a lot out because I'm pissed off about this because this is somebody like that has earned so many achievements in life, and you're just gonna trash on her name and act like you know what you're talking about as if it's actual fact and proof, and then it's just a theory. That it's become reckless, and that's very dangerous. And the reason it makes me upset is because there should be a limit when it comes to journalism. You know what I'm saying? Like, all of us have been, like a year ago, all of us were getting attacked for different things when we're just out there trying to do the right thing. And there's limits to journalism because everybody on YouTube that has a talk show is a journalist in some way. You're reporting on something. You're reporting on something. Whatever that is, cookbook, YouTube video, whatever it is, a bottle of water, you're still reporting. And so there should be limits when it comes to this, when it comes to people's reputations and characters, you should have the fucking proof. If you're going to make wild, outlandish accusations, assumptions, generalizations, you you should have some kind of documentation to back that up. Otherwise, you should be held to a different standard. Like that's why I'm upset, because it's like, dude, you just got done shooting a bunch of arrows at this lady's achievements and reputation, and then you're just walking away like, oh, sorry, wrong target.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think that it just shows the extent to which people and him don't care about the collateral damage of what they're doing when it comes to this case, like at all. It's one thing to attack people who are involved, but just to make stuff up to involve people is completely absurd. And I mean, I think that the fact that she had to say something, that she had to send that text and get the message out, shows that it is serious. Like, because for the most part, she would probably just wait for the trial, wait for things to come out, then see if she's cold, see if she's not. But there was an urgency to that. It wasn't very long before she had to get that text out, because that's how serious it is. It's like her entire name. And he doesn't really seem to care. Like, he just, a theory is not, it's not even a theory, it's just a story. Like, I feel like that's what he does. He just makes up stories.
And it's a very damning story.
Right?
Yeah, it is. That's like, because I was telling people before that when I started to read the book or whatever, and when I was seeing the misinformation,
I remember.
Remember, I shut the stream down. I said, I'm deleting it. I'm not going to finish it. There's no way I'm not doing this, because when I'm reading these words that he was writing, how he was like basically telling you how the conversations were going, what the conversations were about in the car, who got upset with who at what point during the drive, who, all of these different things. And I'm sitting here going, how in the hell do you know? And number two, it's not like you were talking to Brian's dad and that's the only person that you would have been able to get that information from, because there's nobody else that was in the vehicle. And I know that Brian's dad isn't talking to you or didn't go into that much detail about this car ride. So I'm like, dude, that's why me and some other people I mean, listen, if you love Bloom, that's fine. I don't give a shit. Like what you want. It's not my thing. It's not my life. But at the same time, I don't have to buy into the bullshit, because I know that he knows better. He comes from a generation where you had to, the 60s and the 70s, the 80s, the 90s. Look at what happened to Dan Rather in 2005. This is basically what Dan Rather did, because he was going out to all of these national media sites, going on all these YouTube shows, and then these YouTube shows that he was on promoting this shit. Boom, this is fact. And it's like, this shit is reckless. And this is why it's so reckless, is because Katherine Ramsland, Dr. Katherine Ramsland, didn't do anything. And you know what she's going to have to suffer for the rest of her life? People coming across Howard Bloom's story, because he can say, my mistake, and walk away, but people aren't going to come up to that, because that's not going to be the popular tweet or whatever. The popular information is going to be on all these YouTube shows, on all these national media shows, Megyn Kelly, Nancy Grace, all these other people at promoting this, where it's still up there, and people are going to think about that. How many people are going to continue to come across these videos from this point on until even after Katherine is gone? and she's still going to have this narrative. And I really feel like I really feel like it can be damaging to her career and reputation from this point on, because the man came out and said that Brian Koberger's fascination with his teacher is what led to the crime that took place in Idaho. So there's people that are, oh my gosh, what was going on between Brian and the teacher? When this first dropped, about all this stuff, when this first dropped, it was like when this story first started coming out and he's on these YouTube shows talking this same BS. I'm sitting there going, man, next thing you know, he's going to come out and say that it was both ways, that they were infatuated with each other and all this. I bet you it would have if she wouldn't have came out and stopped it where it was at, because look where it was going. Brian's fascination led to the crime in Idaho? The teacher?
Yeah, and honestly, with the tweet that he put out responding to her response, I don't even think that he wants people to see that, because there's so much that he could have done. He could have written an article correcting it. He could have like, I mean, it was just like a half-hearted couple of tweets. I really don't even think that he wants people to see that. I think that he's just obligated to say something.
He has to.
And he's going to probably, well, I mean, in my opinion, carry on with what he's doing.
Oh, yeah, that's what it is. My mistake. But
nobody even knows about his response.
Is it law enforcement's mistake when they bust into somebody's house and then they get to the person and they go, oh, sorry, wrong house? Is that a mistake? This is somebody's character, reputation, career. And you're right.
Safety.
And safety too, because yes, now people are going to associate her, to sit there and say, oh, she called the family within hours. All of these different things just to make the romance even stronger between the connection between her and Brian.
Yeah.
What the hell, dude? That's why yesterday, I'm sorry, that's why I swore a whole bunch in that video, and I edited a lot of it out, and there's probably some that I had no choice but to leave in, but I literally just hit record and I went the F off because I was like, dude, this is so messed up. And for somebody to be able to just go, oh, my mistake. No.
Yeah.
You didn't just come on the scene, bro, and say, sorry, I didn't learn the playbook yet. You knew the playbook since the 60s, dude. You were born in 48. You were born in 1948. You started your career soon after you graduated, and then college. Dude, you started being a journalist in the late 60s and early 70s, bro. And Dan Rather didn't get shit canned until 2005. Dude, there was so much you had to do back then. You even had a checklist on a piece of damn paper that you had to check off that you did these items so you could turn it in.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like maybe he's struggling to be relevant still. Like, I'm just saying.
Well, he's certainly relevant because he's all over these national media YouTube shows, and how many views have those gotten compared to is there any, because listen, his response came out yesterday. Was there any other Boom shows that were talking about the fucking response from Blum?
No.
Sorry, guys, the show that we did was no. I'm gonna go ahead and take that down. There's none of that shit. I'm gonna go ahead and let you guys know we had him on a couple days ago, and he wasn't. It was completely fabricated. What do you think would have happened What? Because it happened with other people before it got to me. What do you think would have happened if? Remember the dot?
Mhm.
Remember dot? Remember that story, that narrative, that BS train? It
Yeah.
came to this show. Even the people on my panel. Oh, and I'm sitting there going, no, you can see it in my chat. You guys, CJ isn't believing this shit. Yeah, because, yeah, and I didn't. And I got a lot of hate for it because I'm like, this is bullshit. If you're going to believe this shit, go watch cooking shows. Because seriously, like, if you really think that all of that is true and this person is being able to go on YouTube airwaves and spew all of this, get the hell out of here. They'd be a star witness, they'd be shut up, they'd be gagged, and they wouldn't be able to say nothing because they wouldn't be able to be a star witness anymore if they're for 1 second they're on a YouTube show, or 1 second they're on national media, or for 1 second that they do an interview that can be recorded. They're already not a credible witness, people. They're already not a credible witness. And for somebody to have all of that story and to be all over the airwaves, and no, that's why I didn't believe it from the start, because I'm like, then they wouldn't be a credible witness anymore in trial, and the defense wouldn't allow that to happen to somebody that has this kind of story. Get the hell out of here.
Yeah, even if Katherine Ramsland is saying that she doesn't want to speak just in case she's a witness, I mean, that just shows.
You gotta think.
Yeah.
You gotta think. That's why there's all these people out here that are trying to get you to go goose chasing.
Yeah.
And this right here is the same kind of thing. That would be like me promoting Dot. Like, these people promoted Howard Blum and his information with this case, whether it's on national media or YouTube shows. It'd be the same thing as promoting fucking Dot. I won't allow it. I won't allow it. It's so dangerous. And this woman worked her ass off her whole damn life. You don't know what she went through to be able to achieve what she's done. And for you to trash on it because you want another fucking dollar, bro, because we all know it's about the book. Because you want another dollar. It shouldn't be my mistake. It shouldn't be that easy. He should be held responsible for what he did, because this is not right. This is unfair. And this is forever. People are going to come across this information way after both of them are gone, and they're still going to link her like that with BK, and that is wrong.
Yeah. But I mean, honestly, like, he's gotten away with a lot for a long time.
Yeah.
And what I'm really glad now is that Brian Enton is on her side, because he said that he knows her and he trusts her. And the article, in his opinion, is not true. And I think that that's a really, really good name to have behind you as well. Like, he believes in her. And that's the only good I can see in all of this. But thank goodness for him as well to get that message out.
Well, he's the only one that, could, because that's the only one that she actually responded to and said, go ahead. I'm sure there's I guarantee you, as the week goes on, this week here goes on, you're going to see colleagues come out of Dr. Katherine Ramsland, and they're going to come out and attest to her character and who she is and all of this other stuff. So I guarantee that, and shout out to, and that's why I thanked Brian Enton for that, because, this is so wrong, man. Imagine if she wouldn't have came out and said something, and, the fact that these national media and these other platforms sit there and host and promote all of this stuff. Yo, The reason I have to leave the dot up, the dot video from my show, is because other people wanted to make videos of it and twist it around and manipulate the audio to make it sound, like,
Yeah.
no, you got to leave that up there because people need to see how fake it is.
Right. Right. I mean, and mainstream media have taken videos down before when, things in there they weren't sure about. So
They're not gonna.
yeah,
They're not gonna.
I know, and I don't know what it is about him and his reputation, but he has all of this respect, and
He does.
yeah,
I've had guests on my show, and I've had guests on my show that love Howard Bloom, and I'm sitting there, and this is after I read. This is after I read that story about the drive back to PA, and I'm sitting there telling these people, like, I'm sorry, like, I get that's cool. If you love him, you love him, But I said, look, when somebody's telling me a story and they're talking about it like it's evidence and fact, and this is what they're. I'm sorry. Why else would I shut down my stream and delete my video after it was over, and not continue with the book? I was going to read that whole book for you guys in different parts because y'all kept asking me to read a damn book. So I'm like, I'll read this book, right? I'll read this book. I don't know what to read, I'll read this book. I was going to make a series out of it. After that first couple, I'm like, no, I can't do this. I can't do this. This is not right. This is not right.
Yeah, one of the things that I kind of find the most irritating about him as well, and he mentioned in the aftermath of that book as well, is that every time he's kind of even slightly feeling like somebody's going to call him out on it, then he'll just say, "It's just a theory. It's just an opinion. It's slightly changed. Like, I was just making a story about it," and that's all he needs to say to get away with it every time. And he's been like just riding on that this whole time. This is, I think, the first time he's actually being called out. Like there could be ramifications for this, I think.
No, you just went like that.
Yeah. I mean, I hope that she sees to it.
Yeah.
Like that her true story, or not story, but at least her statement is like properly out there, and that a lot of people get to see it.
Yeah, and she shouldn't have even had to, but really the totality of it is from this day forward, and even long after they both pass away, the people are going to see this stuff about this fascination, and there's going to be some people that are going to blame her.
Yeah, it's done now. Yeah.
And even with the statement that she came out with, even with Howard Bloom's sorry, my mistake, it doesn't matter. This is, like I said, look at all the national media videos that are out on these social media networks. Look at all these people on social media platforms that have had this gentleman that has hosted this information being spewed and splattered all over, like it's actual information, evidence, and all these other things. And then this is the thing, oh, sorry, my mistake. This is, when we go back to all of this crazy stuff, like, in the beginning when Banfield had a source close to the investigation, or even recently, like, with some of the stuff that Steve G has been talking about, it makes you wonder, is this the person that is the one that is spreading that information, Rosee? Is Howard Bloom the one that is telling Steve G certain things? I know he's saying he's getting emails from FBI and law enforcement, stuff. He already admitted that. But what I'm saying is like some of the wild ass shit, I'm wondering if it's coming from Bloom, I'm wondering if some of the other stuff that these content creators are coming up with is from Bloom. I want, just don't say I'm the source. This is, and then Banfield, a source close to the investigation.
Honestly, I thought about that too. I thought about like if he's at least part of it. Like I figured maybe it's more than one person, but it like early on with this as well, it also occurred to me that like there's something in common there. There's something, because I mean, just the craziness of the things that are being said, that's like a theme in itself.
Well, remember when Steve G, he was doing that interview and he said he made the excuse of I must have read that somewhere.
Yeah.
When it came to the Wi-Fi pinging.
Mm-hmm.
It makes me wonder if, look, it could be, Ellie trying to fib him up or something, but at the same time, who's to say that Howard Bloom didn't tell him or write to him, hey,
Mm-hmm.
that his Wi-Fi pinged there and this and that, and then that's where he quote read it. He read it from Howard Bloom. I don't know. It's just weird, like all this stuff, and then all of this other crazy stuff, and all the crazy stuff that Banfield in the beginning was talking about. She even admits to it in a video we're going to get into here in a second. She even admits how many times they got burned in the beginning because they were saying false information. Like there was a victim's ID in the glove in the box that they found in the Pennsylvania search. There was an ID from the victim, one of the victims. Like she reported that information from a source close to the investigation back then. There was a lot of stuff that they were putting out there. That's why I backed away from News Nation in late 22, early 23. I was like, whoa, okay, I'm going to go ahead and back away from you because you're saying some crazy stuff. But yeah, she even admits to it herself. We got burned plenty of times in the beginning. Yeah. It makes me wonder when you're listening to what she's saying, it made me wonder, is that who she was getting it before? Because she mentions how many times they got burned before, and look at what they're talking about now. How he just burned a whole community because Katherine Ramsland actually had to come out and say, no, this is not true.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's possible. I think it's possible that he's involved, or somebody, is putting other people up to it. I don't know, but I think there is an involvement at least, because the Wi-Fi and the ID and all of that stuff, it's along the same lines, and you have to wonder like who comes up with those, where, why. It's not even like it's an accident.
No. And when he was reporting this stuff about the Ramsland fascination, look at how it blew up on YouTube and how many people were doing shows about it.
I know.
Like it was true. Like it was true and real.
Yeah. Without any evidence mentioned.
When all you have to do is think, look, like I said, and that's why I referenced when I read that story, shut the show down, ended, because I shut it down. I shut the show down. I'm like, I'm not doing this show. I shut it down, deleted the video, said, sorry, guys, you're going to have to check it out somewhere else. I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? These people, that's when I knew better, because I'm like, dude, how can you come up with this story about the backs like you're in the back seat and you're in their brains? I'm like, no, I can't trust this. People should have known better a long time ago, and people still were doing these shows like boom, all, and I'm just like, where is y'all are supposed to be you know, you're all supposed to have these careers with all these achievements too, people, and you don't smell the hot dog steak. It makes me wonder what the fuck's going on with your achievements. Like I wonder with Howard Bloom. Honestly, seriously, because if it takes a dude that don't have those kind of achievements to smell the fucking hot dog steak before somebody that does have those achievements, maybe
Yeah,
it's called real life that I
it's
had to grow
instinct.
up and learn before I even
Yeah.
had to go to fucking school.
Yeah. And I mean, you would hope that it's also not that people are just kind of looking the other way because it's the popular thing to talk about and just like, you know, accept it.
There's a hot dog steak t-shirt if you're interested. But I'm just like, how can you not? How can you not? Taya, thank you. I deleted the comment. That's something we don't discuss or ever have really even gotten into on the show. And just with the keywords, I want to try and make sure that we can get it out to as many people as possible because it's about the awareness of the injustice that's going on with this, and that's what's the most important. So no, that's not something we discussed in a previous show. That's not something we'll ever really discuss, honestly, for any of the shows coming up in the future. So that won't be a topic. All right, so I want to share that video with you guys. First, I want to share this little video from Brian Enton. Okay. This was on Twitter. Let me see. I don't remember. May 4th, 7 p.m. He was on location somewhere. Why is it not sharing? There we go. He was on location somewhere, but he wanted to come out and say because he knows Katherine Ramsland personally, Dr. Katherine Ramsland personally. He knows that she can't say nothing, that she hasn't wanted to say anything. But at the same time, with the stuff that Howard Bloom was coming out and discussing, you know, I'm sure because it's a text message that he got from Ramsland. It's not like Ramsland put out a Twitter message. It was actually a text message that she had sent to Brian Enton and also gave him permission to go ahead and let people know that no, this is what the truth is, and this is what needs to be promoted. So that's where this comes from. Then we're going to get into the News Nation interview, and then after that, we're going to get to the interview that the Consalvas family had. They said some really interesting things too on that interview. We're going to check that out. We're not going to have the whole thing in its entirety. We're not even going to have the video of it. We have an audio only version that we're going to be playing for you. If you want to hear it at the regular speed and you want to watch the whole video in its entirety, and regardless, I encourage you to go sub up to the channel that we're going to be using, and also go leave some love and support in their comment section on the video, because hitting that like, subbing, and showing some support in the comment section always helps the videos get out there for anybody. All right, so this is from yesterday, and he wanted to come out, or no, this was the night before, and May 4th, and he wanted to come out and say this, and then also let people know, like, no, this is not true, this is wrong. And I hope, I don't know, I hope the right thing happens, and I hope people wake up and see, maybe he did something in 1973, but this is not what you do, especially to other people that have high regards in communities when it comes to their character and their integrity and their ethic. I think it's a bunch of shit. So here we go. Here's this.
Hey guys, I hope everybody's doing well. I wanted to get on here and address something. It seems like as we get closer to the Bryan Kohberger trial, there's been more and more speculation and rumors and just bad facts in certain articles that are out there. And I wanted to talk about something in particular. There was an article that was published recently about Dr. Katherine Ramsland. And if you've been following, you know Dr. Ramsland is a professor at DeSales University in Pennsylvania. She was Brian Kohberger's professor when he was getting his master's degree in criminology when he was in Pennsylvania, before he went to Washington State University where he was getting his PhD. And we've known that. And this article claims, among many things, that Dr. Ramsland has been in touch with Brian Kohberger, even recently while he's in jail, and a bunch of other things too, that she's been close with the family. And it speculates that that the motive could possibly be that Brian Kohberger was trying to impress Dr. Ramsland. I know Dr. Ramsland, okay, so I'm going to be totally upfront about that.
And that's so unfair because there's so many people that are going to blame Katherine Ramsland for Brian's obsession to commit the crime all the way across the country. That's the unfortunate part. She's now there's going to be people that blame her for it, and
damage is done. Yeah.
Oh, I want to say so much more, but I can't because YouTube will penalize me for it.
It's upsetting.
I'm serious. I'm serious. I've had to keep my mouth shut a couple times because the legal shit.
I've gotten to know her over the last several years. I've interviewed her for stories. I've always found her to be a very, very credible, nice, honest person. And she has told me that she doesn't want to talk on the record about Brian Kohberger. So she's told me all along until after the trial because she might be a witness. She doesn't want to interfere with the trial. She obviously knew Brian Kohberger. She was his professor. So she is saying but she is now talking on the record about some of this to me because she is saying that what is in this article is not true. And I'm going to read you what Dr. Ramsland texted me. I had no email correspondence with Brian Kohberger while he was at WSU, Washington State University. So that's where he was getting his PhD. He has not been in touch with me since his arrest. It's a big point because that's totally different than what was published. I called his parents as a gesture of kindness, but I do not advise them about the case. I did not call them hours after the arrest, as Blum claims. I have never talked to his sister about any book. I never mentioned Kierkegaard in my classes. I did not broker anything regarding a lawyer. I have not been invited by the Kohbergers to Idaho. I don't know where they'll be staying. I don't know who Blum's source is or why he reports information for which he has no proof. Some of this stuff, if you're not following, you can go back and read the article and you'll know what she's talking about specifically. So again, I know Dr. Ramsland. I have no reason not to believe her. And I don't think she's lying, and so I don't think the article is correct. And I just wanted to put that out there. And I think I want to correct things as we get closer to the trial. So I hope everybody's doing well.
Yeah. And shout out to him for doing that, man.
Yeah.
Because he didn't have to. He didn't have to. And for him to come out and make that announcement, and I feel so bad because she, I remember when he first got arrested. It was days after we found out, that he went to DeSales University, and we found out who the professor is, and we found out, who she was. We even did a show on her in the very beginning there. We even did a show on her. My gosh. I might have to do a revisit on that because I remember, I completely forgot. We did a show on her, in the very beginning because it was like, ooh, let's see who this professor is. Kind of like we did with Ann Taylor when we found out that day he was arrested that Ann Taylor was representing him. We're like, who in the hell is this? Because her client was still in frickin' Pennsylvania and she was shutting down a cleaning crew at 11:22 already, and we're like, damn, you're just a public defender. Usually you guys just look for plea deals. You're not, I'm just
Yeah.
yeah, so I was like, who the hell is this? Damn, I'm gonna have to look up to see
Yeah.
when we did that. I know it was, first couple months of 2023. Because he got arrested a couple days before the New Year, so it was right there, the early. I'm gonna have to check that out. But yeah, it's just now she's gonna be blamed for it. She was from back then, because I reached out back then when I did the show on her. I reached out and wanted to try and talk to her, and it was one of those things where, like, after a couple months, you're like, oh yeah, you know what? Like, she'll probably end up being a witness or whatever. And you could tell there was so many people that were inviting her to come on shows, and she was never going on any shows. And if she was going on shows, then she would only talk about other cases. She wouldn't be on the Idaho 4 shows. She would be on other shows like Surviving the Survivor and things like that. But she would not talk Idaho 4. So you pretty much knew, she was trying to stay away from it, which you should, because the last thing that you want to do is taint the jury or the trial in any way possible, or have any kind of negative effect on the justice taking place. And so I applaud her for that, because I'm sure she wanted to come out, especially with all this other stuff that people were promoting. I'm sure she wanted to come out and maybe make some statements, but she had to, she had to, internally, she wanted to make sure she didn't mess anything up, because it's not about her or anybody else. It's about the victims and the justice for them, and that's what's important. So
yeah. And I mean, she obviously would have a really, really good understanding of the justice system, like more than an average person, I guess, as well. So that just adds to it.
yeah, it's so dangerous. So you're gonna hear Ashley say that they got burned a few times already. It just makes you wonder. All right, here's more on that, and then you'll see Blum's response to her response. And think about, it's this gaslighting behavior. Okay, think about like any of these other cases we're talking about. You got the Micah Miller case. Is it okay for JP to say all these things about Micah, these outlandish rumors that are just absolutely not true, that can affect her character, her reputation and career, and then just be like, sorry, my mistake? Were you guys down with that? No. How could you could compare it to any of these cases when it comes to this situation, the gaslighting. And that's what's taking place. He gaslit not only the community, because he came out and reported it like it's information, but he also gaslit Ramsland big time. I got to keep my mouth shut. And I'm no way saying that anybody should go send any kind of hateful messages to anybody that's in discussions today. I got to keep my mouth shut.
When it comes to getting a murder conviction, motives are like bodies. Very helpful to a case, but not mandatory. Prosecutors convict murder suspects all the time without knowing why the killer did it. And for more than 2 years now, it has looked like the quadruple murders at the University of Idaho may be another case in point. For all the evidence that we've seen in court papers so far, evidence that points to a suspect with the means and the opportunity to commit this horrendous crime, we've seen next to nothing about a motive, an alleged reason as to why Bryan Kohberger, who's charged with this, would want those 4 innocent kids dead in such a violent and bloody way. But now, with Kohberger's trial just 3 months away, there is one reporter who says he thinks he knows what prosecutors are planning to present in the way of motive. His name is Howard Blum, and his
that's going to be their motive, is that his fascination. It's going to be the prosecution's motive.
Yeah. Remember, he can read minds.
This dude is just. Listen, you should have known a long time ago when he talked like he was in the back seat of Bryan Kohberger's car. Just saying, you should have known.
His article appears in an online newsletter called Airmail. In it, Blum suggests that prosecutors think Kohberger went to monstrous and unthinkable extremes to impress a woman. And not just any woman, a woman you have seen on this program many times, Katherine Ramsland. Dr. Ramsland was one of Kohberger's professors back at DeSales University in Pennsylvania. When Bryan Kohberger earned a master's degree in criminal justice, it was at DeSales. Ramsland teaches forensic psychology and has written more than 50 books. According to the article, prosecutors are preparing to tell the jury, and I quote, "The pupil was ready to become the teacher. He'd kill and get away with it. He'd prove how smart he was."
It's just, yeah, we're going to get into that episode here soon. It's just crazy, this crap.
He would show how much he'd learned.
She's going to be blamed for it.
The article also suggests that Dr. Ramsland and Kohberger stayed in touch after he left DeSales University and moved out west, that they emailed each other after the murders, and that Ramsland called Kohberger's mother after he was arrested. So what does Dr. Ramsland say about the story and all the details contained within it? Not quite. That's my summary. I'm joined now by my News Nation colleague, Brian Enton. Brian, whenever there's a big Kohberger story that drops, people go bananas, the internet, lights on fire. But we've been burned on some of these before. So talk to me about how Dr. Ramsland is responding to Howard Blum's report.
Yeah, actually, we really have to be careful with some of these reports as we get closer to the trial, because Dr. Ramsland is saying that most of what is in this new report is just flat out not true. Now, of course, Dr. Ramsland was Bryan Kohberger's professor in Pennsylvania. When he got his bachelor's, she was his forensic psychology professor. When he got his master's, she was his behavioral criminology professor. But in terms of this whole love story and the fact that they have been in communication, she says, just flat out wrong. Let me read you a statement that we got from Dr. Ramsland that really sums some of this up. She says, "I had no email correspondence with Bryan Kohberger while he was at WSU." So that right there, I mean, the article said she did. She says flat out no email correspondence with Bryan Kohberger while he was at WSU.
So
he
dangerous.
has not been in touch with me since his arrest. I called his parents as a gesture of kindness, but I do not advise them about the case. I did not call them hours after the arrest, as Blum claims. I have never talked to his sister about any book. That was something that came up in the article. I never mentioned Kierkegaard in my classes, another thing that came up in the article. I did not broker, which is a word that Blum used, anything regarding a lawyer. I have not been invited.
Broker, he accused her of brokering a deal.
Yeah,
using her influence to gain a competitive advantage. It's
he's unbelievable.
It's so reckless, man. And what did she do, man? She's such a sweet lady. If you've ever watched any of her appearances on any of these shows, she's such a sweet lady, man.
Yeah.
And It's so unfortunate, man. So unfortunate.
By the Kobergers to Idaho. I don't know where they'll be
She's such a
staying.
sweet lady.
I don't know who Blum's source is or why he reports information for which he has no proof. So that's what she's saying. I think what stands out to me the most, Ashley, is she is flat out saying that she has had no email correspondence with Brian Koberger while he was at WSU and has not been in touch with him since the arrest, which Blum said literally the opposite in his article.
And I'm saying I have to question everything that this man has ever written on a piece of paper or said.
Ever. Yeah.
I have to. I have to. Because
yeah, I mean, like if there's a problem with the integrity in one area, why would it be any different in all the others?
he would know better, Kathy. He was born in 1948. He was a journalist in the late 60s, early 70s, starting out, and he's been around the game. It's like I've told people, if you go back to journalism back then, they literally had a checklist on a piece of paper of shit that they had to check off and then turn it in when it came to their information of what they're reporting. Like it's called accountability, people. There was a lot of it. And it's why I refer to Dan Rather in 2005. Remember, Dan Rather had been around since the early 70s and the 60s, right? The same thing. And look what happened to Dan Rather. He reported on some information that was not factual, went on to national airwaves, reported it as fact, and then found out, no, it was not true. It was just some crazy manipulated story in fabrication. And I reported it without, any kind of journalistic integrity involved. And look what happened. He got shit canned. Like, that dude had way more achievements than Blum. Dan Rather. Way more achievements than Blum. And Dan Rather got shit canned for the same thing that Howard Blum just did to Katherine Ramsland.
Yeah, and I mean, he didn't even stop there. I honestly think that the right thing to do after all of that would have been to reach out to Brian Enton or something and issue a proper apology and direct it at her instead of doing some half-hearted random tweet.
When this is the thing, and this is why you don't see accountability in his response, because if he was about that, he wouldn't have went to the lengths that he went to in the first place. You only go to those lengths if you don't have accountability. Because because I'm sure you're talking to other people before you go on the airwaves, and there's probably other people that are like, where'd you get that information? Well, that's just one of my theories. I don't know if I'd say that. I don't know if I'd mention that, Howard. There's no accountability. I mean, here's his response. Let me know where the accountability is in this response, because I don't see it.
If you can find it, let us know.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I just said if you can find the accountability, let us know. I didn't see it either.
No, it's not there.
See, the next and natural question would be, is Howard Blum responding to Dr. Ramsland's very pointed statement?
Yes, I'm just going through my phone because he did tweet out today. Katherine Ramsland has issued a statement about my recent piece. He says she confirmed she reached out to BK's parents after arrest. She refutes that BK emailed her while at WSU. And then he says, I apologize for that error. Again,
okay. He said that she reached out hours after his arrest. Or he said she reached out hours after his arrest. And she said, I did not reach, even though, yes, I did ultimately reach out. It had nothing to do with any of the stuff that you're claiming, and it was not the timeline that you said it took place. So instead of him saying, well, okay, I got the time wrong, what? Well, she confirmed that she reached out to him. No accountability. In fact, that's a check mark for me, guys.
Right.
Like he was.
Right.
That's one honest part. What, dude? What?
Yeah, no, he makes it sound like she's admitted something.
Right. Which no, that didn't happen the way you said it happened, Howard. Oh, yep, see, I'm right. Then it then says she refutes that BK emailed her while at WSU. I apologize for that error. Dude, you said it like how no accountability, dude.
Mm-mm.
None.
And that was a big part of the story. Katherine Ramsland states she didn't demand that BK parents get her approval before meeting PA lawyer. I never wrote that. Nevertheless, they did.
Nevertheless, they did.
But she didn't even say that he said that. She just said broker. Like,
and then he talks about, oh my gosh, look at him turn around. Dude. This is abusive behavior. You do something wrong, you don't own up to it, and then you turn it around on them at the end. What the fuck? That's some manipulated, twisted, abusive behavior right there. Wow, look at this shit. Look at number 4.
Chapter on her student BK in her forthcoming book, that we don't know. And then Katherine Ramsland states,
see, he said that we don't know. So as far as Brianette knows or anybody else knows, because she didn't say she was writing a book, so he literally flipped it around and turned it around back onto her. Can't wait to read it.
sarcastically. Yeah, I mean, that's very manipulative.
It makes me wonder what this guy's really like behind the camera. Sits puffing on cigars, treating women like shit.
Well, I mean, this is just sort of passive aggressive, pretending, saying, I can't wait to read it. It's like,
that's it. Okay, it's one thing to not admit to your mistake. It's another thing to then turn it back around on the victim. She's a victim in this.
Yeah.
And now he turned it back around on her. Right, Snowpia? Has he suffered head trauma? No, for real.
No, I've been wanting to say that, but it was
this
just like,
right
I
here.
not say that. Yeah.
To turn it back around on the victim? Bro. She did nothing wrong, and now you're trashing her even more.
Yeah, it's very direct of him also to not just say BK, but to say her student BK, to make sure that it's like they're strongly connected as well. It sounds like he's accusing her of something. Just like
it's
by saying her student. Yeah.
It's victim bashing, Rosee.
Yeah.
It's victim bashing.
Yeah.
This is like, oh my God, this is nuts. There's just no accountability.
Her forthcoming book, that we don't know. And then Katherine Ramsland states she never taught Kierkegaard in her class to BK. I never said she did. I think she missed the point of my reference. And then he says, I will stand by my hypothesis just as that, a theory.
So he's not retracting anything at all. And his excuse is that it's a theory.
Dude, this behavior right here. That's just she's already a victim. You already damaged her reputation, her, who knows, it might even, her career.
Yeah, it's completely out of hand.
You defame her for no reason. You defame her for no reason. You go on all these other fucking YouTube shows and all these other national media shows promoting it like it's true. How many people, look at how many YouTubers alone have the picture of Koberger and Katherine Ramsland, this photo, the picture from the Airmail article. And and you got all the jaw-dropping details, and all this other stuff, and he's just up there sucking up all the attention, going on national media, sucking up all the attention, talking about how this is true. Yeah, I mean, hell, for Katherine to finally have to come out and make a statement through Brian Enton, because it's being talked about so much about how it's true. I'm just going to be honest. I'm shocked he didn't get a letter from the lawyer, and maybe he did.
Maybe. Or will, or something. But I mean, I think this really is showing him for who he really is. If anybody wasn't sure before.
Oh, for sure.
It's
for
getting
sure.
more and more clear.
Yeah, because you can literally victim bash the day after she comes out with a statement. You're gonna flip it around and turn it around on her.
And I mean, we don't know. Sorry. Like Brian Enton says, we don't know if she's writing a book. We don't know if there's a chapter on BK in her book, like anything like that. Even in the event that were true, which, I mean, I'm not even saying that it is, there's still so much more integrity than releasing your book with fake information before the trials even happened. I mean, just compare the two books. Not that I'm saying the one book actually exists, but even if it did, like, you can see the difference and the contrast. And he's like attacking her for it.
Yeah. And turning it around back on her. I heard she's got a book. Can't wait to read it. Sure, it'll be perceptive.
Yeah, what is actually meant by that? Sure, it will be perceptive. Like, that's just reaffirming his claims. Like
it's going to be insightful when it comes. He is Beckles. Trust me, there's so many things I wish I could say, but I have to be careful.
Yeah.
But this right here, and this is why, like I said, I smelled this hot dog steak a long ass time ago, riding in the back of Koberger's car. It's why I even had conversations with other people on my shows when the whole Howard Blum conversation would get brought up and how people would love him and his, journalistic integrity. And I'm like, look, who comes up with the story? And they're like, hey, and some people would get mad at me. And I'm like, look, I mean, if you want to believe his shit, go ahead. But I have to consider what this dude says with a grain of salt after this. And then when this comes out, I mean, hell, when did we even, we did that show together, right? When the Howard Blum book, when we started to read it and I shut it down. How long ago was that? That was a long ass time ago.
Yeah, it was definitely a couple of months ago.
Oh, it was more than that. I think it was like, it had to be right around when we first met.
No, definitely not that long ago. But I mean, it was shortly after the book came out. So I'll just find out when the book came out, and then it would have been in that week.
Yeah, because it was like right after. I thought it was a really long time ago. Yeah, it'd be interesting. So, I don't know. It's I, I just feel so bad for her. She's such a sweet lady. And for him to do this, it's uncalled for people to consider him uh credible. I don't know. I just can't.
The book came out on the 25th of June 2024, and I know that we covered it very soon after it came out, so it's going on a year ago.
Oh, okay. So about a year ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Uh, I don't even think I saved a copy of it, because even the stuff I'll delete, I'll save a copy of it. I don't even think I saved a copy.
I know I was struggling to get it because I wanted to buy a copy. So you sent me excerpts from it.
That's right. That's right. I sent you all the pages.
Yeah, because every time I tried, it was saying not available in your country. So I couldn't read it.
And right. I did a video clicking through it so you could take screenshots.
Thank you, by
That's
the way.
right. Yeah, that was like a 30-minute video of me just clicking through. Like how many pages was that too that
you
I
did
did
the
that?
whole book.
Yeah, how many pages was that? I can't remember, because it was like a 30-minute video where I'm literally I'm click every like 2 seconds. I'm just clicking to the next page because Rosee couldn't get the book. So I'm like, all right, I'll make a video and I'll just click every 2 seconds. You just screenshot it, and you know. Yeah,
Thank you, by the way.
Oh yeah,
that helped. I got to read the whole book.
It took a little while, trust me.
I'm sorry.
No, but no, because it was important, you know. Yeah, that's right. I remember that now. That's funny. I bet I saved that. I bet I saved that somewhere.
I hope so. It was an excellent read. Just click.
Sure I did. All right, so we can go ahead and be done. But yeah, like I said, and it's just unfortunate. And I'm sure all these videos are still, you know, all of them.
Yeah.
National media, social media.
I think there's even some coming out since she said something, so it's being ignored by some channels.
Yeah. Nobody even really talked about it. I mean, we were the first video yesterday that was discussing it, and then some other ones started to shortly after that started to come out and discuss it, but really not too many people were talking about it yesterday, even the whole exchange.
It's important. It's really important.
And then like with today, I haven't even, with the screenshots and the response from Howard Blum, I think we're the first one. I think I've even seen in chat where nobody's even discussing it right now, and we're the only ones that had discussed it this morning. So it's like, I wish people would talk about it more, honestly, because this is wrong. This is wrong. Like she did nothing to you. You made her a victim, already defamed her, and then after she comes out and says that, you're wrong, you come back with sarcastic non-accountability and then victim bashing because you turn it right back around on her and then make it seem like she's the bad person again because you say that she's got a book coming out and you can't wait to read the chapter on BK. It's going to be a good one. Like it's just really deceptive. I hope more people talk about it today, and I hope, because she deserves a hell of a. She didn't deserve any of this at all. Nobody does, and for somebody to go that length and to do that, it's absolutely wrong. It should be discussed a hell of a lot more, and I hope more people talk about it. And it's not getting. I mean, that video yesterday that I did only had a couple hundred views. It wasn't even like. So it's like, people need to know about this stuff, man. It's not right. I really want to know what you feel like when it comes to the Blum Ramsland shit. And I'm telling you right now, there's already a show that's scheduled for later tonight. Wondering if it's debunked or not. Debunked or not? Like, dude, I'm sorry. It's just as bad as Blum. If you couldn't wake up over a year ago and smell the hot dog steak because he supposedly rode in the back seat, give me a damn break. Do better. And if you need to feel better, we'll be having a CJ call. You can ask Dr. CJ. Dr. CJ will help you feel better too. Love you guys. Appreciate you very much.
Bye, everyone.
I appreciate you guys. And we also have these on the menu. They smell good too, and they're soft. Love you guys. We'll see you on the next live. They are soft. Ask anybody.
Stand for.